PSA for life, man. It's your boy 3-Letter Man. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Y'all see where to follow your boy at. Hit the like button also. I appreciate that. Y'all see the title of this one, boy. Let's talk about it. You know what's funny about this subject here with LaRussell? If you're not familiar with LaRussell, I'm familiar with LaRussell. I've seen freestyles of him floating around Instagram for the last couple of years. Some of them I rock with. I've actually recorded them and put them on Twitter and everything like that. So I am familiar with LaRussell. I know he's signed to Roc Nation. I know also he owns his masters and everything like that. So shout out to that brother for getting his business right, number one, right? A couple of weeks ago, Joe Budden had made a comment about people talking about political views or what's going on in the world today, whether that's ICE or police shootings or police brutality or just anything of what we call substance, right? And the word substance in hip-hop, substance, we use that word a lot. And I think we divide the word substance in terms of if you're talking about things that matter, whether that's in an introspective matter, that's deemed as more substance, right? If I look at Lloyd Banks. I'll go to Lloyd Banks right quick, right? But I've always said that Banks' music has matured throughout the years, right? Old bars like I walk into the hotel with the condom on, right? That he doesn't do those kind of bars anymore. More, it's it's almost like grown man bars is something you got to deal with, right? So he really taps into that. Watson always talks about Locksmith, right? Having substance in his music, right? Conway, if you want to talk about front lines, or Benny when he talk about the shootings that happened in Buffalo. We like to hear our rappers go into that bag, especially guys like me and Watts who are from that era of guys. There was always a balance in hip hop, right? Even though you had Onyx throw your guns in the air, you could always go to self-destruction, right? You always had The Sixth Sense by Common, it's Dead Prez, right? KRS-One. There was always a balance. Being I'm black and I'm proud almost, right? Run DMC, right? So that conversation in hip hop, and Joe Budden alluded to it, and me and Watson have spoken to it, and especially in the last month or so, we've really been hitting home with that. A lot of guys, listen, I'm not here to tell rappers what to rap about. Would I like to hear rappers talk about, have a broader balance? Absolutely, I would. That's why when Kodak Black was on Kendrick Lamar's project, a lot of us like, wow, Kodak and Kendrick, we didn't see the coalition there, right? But let's get back to LaRussell, because he was on a podcast. I apologize. I don't know these brothers' podcasts, and the young sister right here. Shout out to them right quick. But they're going viral right now. They're going viral because LaRussell made a comments about Lil Wayne, not talking about nothing. And here's the thing with that, though, because they only put that clip out. You have to actually watch the whole clip to get a good understanding on where LaRussell was going there. Because I don't think LaRussell was insulting Lil Wayne, because he said he grew up on Wayne. He wrote bars to Wayne. He used to write his rhymes and everything. Basically, he was influenced by Lil Wayne, which a lot of these young guys have been influenced by Lil Wayne. Let's be honest. We talk about how influential Tupac was when he was out here, right? Lil Wayne influence, I cannot sweep that under the rug, act like I didn't live that or see that. Wayne has influenced a lot of people, from the tattoos and the rock and roll thing, and even though Dipset, whatever. I don't want to go that back. I could be all day for that, right? So some people it's funny because I'm seeing some people agreeing with LaRussell, and I see some people attacking LaRussell, and two things can be true, right? The thing with this, Wayne's catalog is so big. It's like out of 20,000, let's say he has 20,000 songs, right? Out of 20,000 songs, maybe 5 or 6 will be what you deemed as substance, whether that's a Georgia Bush song or the Kobe Bryant freestyle or something to that effect, where he's rapping about New Orleans or what's going on in political views. Maybe he doesn't do it as a high clip, or there's one-liners here and there sprinkled in there. And let's be honest, this comment of hip-hop, a lot of people are not doing that, talking about conscious hip-hop and what's going on in the world today. You don't see guys have a song called Ice, right? I think YG might have had a song called F Donald Trump before or something like that. Right? So I guess, I don't think, and to LaRussell's credit, he said he spent the block back on some of these projects and Lil Wayne projects and felt like, there was a lot of stuff he was saying that he seemed as negative and and not contributing to the black community. Now, that line right there, I can understand why some people take umbrage or take a disliking to that line that LaRussell says. Now, do I think there was malice intent to what the brother was saying? I don't think there was malice intent in there, because when you watch the whole clip, he called Lil Wayne a genius on top of that. So you call him a genius, listen, do I want to hear rappers tap into that? Yes, I do. But I'm not expecting Future and I gotta be honest, man, I think a lot of, and my South brothers, y'all might feel a way about this, but one thing about the East Coast and the West Coast, when they was on their 1-2 out here in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of introspective substance songs about political views and stuff. And I'm saying Killer Mike does a great job and all that. I'm saying, make sure I say Killer Mike does a great job in speaking about stuff like that. But I guess that's where we're missing in hip hop, where everything is everything's catered to the clubs or shaking your ass or living a lavish lifestyle. Not everyone's rich. A lot of people out here doing bad. So we do want to hear our rappers give us more of a balance. And like he said, and the great thing about when me and Watson revisit these albums and stuff like that, right? When I'm deep diving, like a Ghostface Killer, for instance, right? As dope as Ghostface is, and you read his bars on Rap Genius while you're doing your reviews and stuff like that, you could be like, Ghostface saying a lot of wild stuff here. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can say words all over the place and stuff like that. And, one thing you cannot do is rewrite hip-hop history, right? Because some people say, oh, this album is outdated or this song is outdated. At the particular time, it wasn't outdated. That outdated word is kind of dicey, though. Because I live on the side of when I heard the song at the time, I didn't look like, all right, the Pee Wee Herman, my Josie Love. I was doing the Pee Wee Herman, but I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I liked the Pee Wee Herman, right? I don't think LaRussell was way off. I don't think he was way off, but some comments might have, when he spent the block back, he feel like Wayne really wasn't saying too much. And I think that's the problem with certain people, especially people who rock with Wayne heavy. They might take a disliking into that. Because I know my guy Capo, the battle rapper Capo, me and him were going back and forth. I know Capo is not feeling what LaRussell was saying. He's not jacking that at all. He doesn't like that. He doesn't, and you're going to have some people who feel that way. Now, has Wayne had songs in his catalog where he's talking about political views or one-liners? Of course he does. Of course he has. Like I said, maybe people want to do more of that, right? Now, you might have some people saying LaRussell is right on what he's saying, but he's the wrong messenger. I'm always talking about the messenger and the guy who's delivering the message, right? And LaRussell might not be the one delivering the message, or people want to hear him deliver that, And that's where that's what lies in between this whole situation, But is LaRussell saying things that a lot of people agree with? Yes. Let's not act like the people who heard LaRussell say this, they don't agree with him. Because there are people who agree with that brother. Heavy. And you might have some... I want to ask the young people this question. The young people that watch this program or listen to me and watch Talk Hip Hop, whatever. Especially from the 20 years old, the 25, or 20 to 30 year olds especially. Do y'all want to hear your rappers talk about what's going on in the world today? Or you guys want to hear about the drugs, the street ish? I'm here for everything. I could listen to Jeezy talk about, I could listen to Can't Ban a Snowman, right? But listen to Dead Prez, right? Do we need a Self-Destruction 2026 song? I don't know. Do we need a Heal Yourself song? Do we need the West Coast All-Stars back? When Tone Loc and Digital Underground, R.I.P. Shock G, MC Hammer and them was out there doing their 1-2. So I don't know, but LaRussell, I understand what he's saying. But I also understand why some people also would take a disliking to what the brother's saying. So, I don't know. Leave comments at the bottom, man. I tell me what y'all think, man. It's your boy 3. Well.